The Butterfly Boy is the story of, well, it's based on a true story, but I had to fictionalise it a bit to make it more acceptable to a modern audience. This is a story of a man growing up in Germany of mixed parentage, part Jewish, part Germanic. And it's what happened to him after he contracted polio and lost the use of his arms. And despite which, he became one of the leading painters of his time, and probably the first disabled painter to have achieved any note. And it's very similar to the story of a man called Arnold Erich Stegmann in Germany. My character is called Arnie, and my character is semi-fictionalised. And it's what happened when the world went crazy, and how he dealt with it, and how he, despite his infirmity, was a great womanizer, a great guy, and had rough edges. He was a rough diamond, also a brilliant artist, and lived through the Nazi era of madness, and despite his background became one of Hitler's favourite artists. And there was on two counts he shouldn't have survived, part Jewish and also because he was disabled, and these were things that the Nazis didn't like in a big way. You know, they killed people because of those things and murdered millions. And so his is a story of triumph over all adversity, and this remarkable man. And then he invented, in my story, something very similar to the Mouth and Foot Painters Association, which is a charity where I think you probably know you get Christmas cards through your door free, and they ask you if you would help the people who are the artists, who are people with infirmities of their hands or feet or arms or legs, and who otherwise paint. And they paint these Christmas cards and they sell them, and you give a donation. And actually that's part of the business that he created, which became a global business. And the proceeds give the possibility to people who wouldn't otherwise have it, or in those days certainly wouldn't have had it, to make a living for themselves and be independent. And some of the art is remarkably good. Now, what's questionable is what happens with all the money, and are the people behind it strictly doing it for the benefit of the people who seem to be the beneficiaries, or is it some kind of scheme? And that's part of the drama of our structure, of our story. And the life is a full cycle, and what happens to this man throughout his life, from a start when we see his family when he was a little boy, from at the end of the First World War through to the 1980s. And it's the story of this remarkable man in this remarkable era of the 20th century, in a place where he was caught up in adversity and triumph over all odds, and was an astonishing character. The Butterfly Boy.